Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building here in the world of Windenburg in the countryside on the lot called the Von Haunt Estate. So if you guys are not familiar with this lot, this is one that came with the expansion pack Get Together. I almost said the expansion pack Windenburg, but Windenburg is the world that comes with the Get Together expansion pack. And I actually have not been to this lot in such a long time. I had so much fun like exploring and building here. I've been very intimidated by this lot in general. I think I've built on it one time before. I think that was the only time, and it was a long time ago. I built like this castle. I did share a speed build of it, but it was really long ago, so the audio, voiceover, quality of the video, everything is probably not that great, but if you want to hunt for it, it is somewhere. But anyways, yeah, I've only built here once before. I really liked that build, but my building skills I don't think were that great at the time, and I'm definitely still learning, but this build is probably, I don't know, I really love it. I think it actually just turned out so nice. It flows. I think the design is really pretty. I'm just really proud of this build, so I'm just pleased with my skills here anyway. So hopefully you guys will like it, but definitely let me know what you guys think. But yeah, the previous one that I did here was a wedding venue, because here on this lot there is a place to get married, like way behind the gardens. There's a wedding arch, there's a piano, I think under a gazebo, which looks really pretty. And of course it's just like a really picturesque place, like with all these gardens. Like you could just take so many beautiful pictures of your Sims dressed up for their wedding day, or just having like a really nice date in general, or anything really. And yeah, I just like the idea of the building itself being an actual wedding venue. Now it is a special lot type because it's technically like a museum. You can't change the lot type though. It's like a very specific type of museum. It's supposed to be like this old house that's been preserved, like you can just walk through it and see the furniture, how it was originally set up and stuff. And I like that idea. I love going to places like this in real life, but in The Sims it's just honestly kind of boring. And so I think having an actual wedding venue works a lot better. And my dog is laying next to me panting, so if you can hear her, I'm really sorry, but I have to take her to the vet today, so I'm definitely not going to kick her out because I feel really bad, even though she's just going to get her nails trimmed and she's getting her flea pill. It's not that big of a vet visit, but I always feel bad taking her there. Either way, what was I saying? So yeah, I just don't think that having the museum lot is that interesting to visit in The Sims. So I think a wedding venue makes a lot more sense. So this build would end up having 3 bedrooms. There's like this huge bridal suite, I'm going to call it, where the bride and groom can stay, or the bride and bride, groom and groom, whoever you guys are having getting married can stay in that room. Or if you just have like really wealthy Sims and you want them to feel like they're staying at a very expensive hotel, that's definitely a possibility. And then there are 2 other rooms. They both have double beds in them, but if you have children, you could probably just edit the lot and just put single beds in there, but I figured the double beds were fine, and those I just decorated very simply. They both have their own en-suites because they're supposed to be like hotel rooms, and yeah, they just look really nice and I really like them. So yeah, I've just been very excited to share this build with you guys. I've shared a few different sneak peeks over on Twitter because I've been really excited. At first I was trying to do like these sneaky pictures, taking these pictures from off in the distance, like pretending I was just looking at the garden, but trying to show you guys the builds in the background. But honestly, the gardens, I forgot how pretty they are. I had so much fun just looking around, and I forgot how detailed it is, and just it's like so cool. There's all these different little places to play chess and to garden and to practice the piano, and you can paint, and it's a really cool lot. And I think it's honestly underestimated because the lot type isn't that interesting and you can't change it. It would be so cool if you could have a Sim actually live here. They would be like the fanciest Sim ever, because if you live on a lot that has like this huge garden, would be amazing. But yeah, you can't change the lot type. But either way, I think it actually functions really nicely as a hotel because your Sims can just sleep here. I don't know if you can lock the doors on community lots, but you could probably like block the door or delete the door while you have your Sims staying in there so nobody walks in. I don't know, I'm sure there's ways around it, but either way, I did playtest this build a little bit. I want to playtest it a little bit longer before I actually upload it to the gallery. but everything seemed to work fine. And in this build, there's the 3 bedrooms, like I mentioned, and then there's the 3 bathrooms that go along with it. There's another set of bathrooms that are more like bathrooms with bathroom stalls. Oh, speaking of bathroom stalls, I have not done a video since The Sims 4 Discover University has been announced, and we're getting bathroom stalls, which I'm really excited about. Oh my god, the trailer, I must have watched it at least 50 times. I haven't been this excited about an expansion pack in so long. Like, I have really been wanting university, as you guys probably know if you watch my videos. I've talked about it probably way too much, but I am really excited to play around with that pack, see what build objects come with it. And yeah, sorry I did not do a reaction to the trailer. I did get a few of you guys asking for that, and I meant to, but for some reason my camera wasn't really working, and I figured a reaction video wouldn't be that good without face cam. So I'll probably do them in the future. This would have definitely been a good one to do it on. But yeah, let me know if more of you guys are interested in that. I just don't do a lot of face cam. I probably should, so I can get more comfortable doing it, because it's definitely something I want to get more comfortable doing. But yeah, I guess the first step is just doing it. So anyways, yeah, I'm really excited for university, the bathroom stalls, the different little clutter and things that I saw in the trailer. Like, I was going through every little scene trying to pick out as many objects as I possibly could, and like notice anything that I saw that was new. And I am really excited, and I received an acceptance letter to the Rochester University from the Sims team, which was really cool to receive in the mail. And yeah, I'm just really excited. But anyway, so yeah, like I was talking about before I got distracted, there are some bathrooms downstairs, the community ones, and then there is a kitchen, so you can hire a chef or have your Sim cook if you want to have them bake a cake, or just hire a caterer in general if you want to pretend like it's a restaurant. I think that would work pretty well. And then there's a bar with a piano, which is more like a dining room. And then there's the entryway. I used the check-in counters that came with Dine Out to look like registration tables, or, you know, just wherever you would check into the hotel. It looks pretty good. It's not functional because, I mean, you can't even run this as a restaurant, so nobody's gonna, like, a host isn't gonna stand there at the hostess station and use it anyways, but it looks good. And yeah, then there is like this actual wedding party room where I put a dance floor, and then there's this table that I set up that has wedding presents and like champagne, and it looks so cute. I absolutely like adore it so much. I love it. Like, it looks so cute. I'm like really proud of that spot. And yeah, other than that, there is another sort of kind of hangout room that's more like a lounge room. I was thinking cigar room, even though there's no smoking in the game. I was thinking just like a room where you would sit and lounge around, talk, and play games. There's a couple of Don't Wake the Llama tables in there. So yeah, it's just like a miscellaneous lounge room that I thought would be kind of nice to have. And then other than that, there's different hallways, and I'm sure something that I'm forgetting. But yeah, I tried to add as much detail and stuff as I possibly could to this build and make it as most like interesting, or as most interesting. That doesn't sound correct. That's really bad English. But just try to make it as interesting as I possibly could, with as many activities as I possibly could, just to make this a lot more usable. Because like I said, I just don't think the museum lot type is that usable. It gets kind of boring after a while. So hopefully there's enough activities here that you can come up with your own stories, or, you know, just find enough activities in general to make this build playable for you guys. But here you can see I'm working out the back of the build. I was not really going off of a reference. I was looking at a few different French chateaus while I was building this, because I was really inspired by a chateau that I visited when I was in France. If you guys did miss it, I went on a trip to Europe back in September, and yeah, it was the most amazing trip ever. And I visited this chateau. I forget exactly the name of it, but it was really beautiful. And I looked through the pictures that I have of that chateau, but I didn't really think it would transfer that well to The Sims. And yeah, this lot really isn't that big, so I figured, yeah, it just really wouldn't have worked. So I took inspiration from that one, and then I looked at Pinterest to other French chateaus, and I'm not really sure how realistic it is. I tried my best to make it look kind of French, but yeah, I don't know, I'm not an architect, so all of those little details that make something specific to a certain architectural style is kind of lost on me, but I tried my best and I think it actually just looks really pretty. And one of the main things I wanted to do was add as much detail as I possibly could, so I add a lot of roof trims and columns and different details. Like I used that archway that we got from Get Famous. I put it around the doors. I don't think I leave it here in the back, but I use it on the front door, which I think looks really pretty and it adds some really nice detail. And honestly, I hadn't really thought about using that object before in a build, but I saw Freezer Bunny use it, and I think it was in his spellcaster headquarters where he did like this School of Magic, which was really a really cool build. So I will try to remember to link that in case you guys have not seen it. If you guys are not subscribed to him, I definitely recommend that because he's probably the best builder in The Sims 4. I think I could say that with some pretty high confidence. But yeah, I saw him using that in that build and I just I've never thought about using it, and I thought it really added some nice detail. And yeah, I used a mixture of different types of windows, and then I also have these dormer windows that came with Get Famous. I actually used a lot of Get Famous in this build, and I just built a home in Willow Creek and I used a lot of Get Famous in that build too. And for so long I never used those objects because I was like, I don't really build anything that fancy, and I thought that they were too over the top or too gaudy. But when it comes to doing builds like this where you really want that over the top feel, they worked perfect. I still didn't use like the leopard print or anything, but the golds and the rich brown colors worked really nicely. So I was definitely happy about that. And I also really liked using this wallpaper that came from the Realm of Magic pack. I really love it. I think this brick is probably the best brick that we have in game. And we also have a matching brick that goes with it without the end piece trims that is base game now. So that's really nice too. But either way, you can see I am working on some of the landscaping right now. And basically my idea for the landscaping was to go really lush and manicured. I didn't want to go too over the top because I didn't want it to end up looking messy. So I use a lot of hedges and I use these trees from the show Live Edit Objects because you can see these trees around the lot. So I felt like it would make it look more cohesive that way. And then I also wanted to add some fountains because the original build that was here also had some fountains and I loved them. I thought they were so pretty. That was probably my favorite thing about the original lot was the fountains and the landscaping and the porches or balconies, whatever you want to call them. I just thought they were really pretty and really nicely done. So yeah, I wanted to leave some of that here and I think it actually works out pretty nicely. I also really liked using those trees, those base game trees with like the balls on them. I'm not sure how to describe them, but yeah, I thought those looked really nice. And at first I really wasn't sure if I was going to use a lot of flowers, and I actually tried decorating the flower beds a few different times, but I'm really happy with the way they turned out. I love the combination of the yellow with the purple and the little hints of orange and then a lot of green and white. I think it just looks really, really pretty in my opinion. So I'm happy with the landscaping because I also feel like it's different than how I normally do landscaping because I was trying to make it look more like purposeful. Is that the right word for it? But yeah, I was trying to make it look more on purpose rather than more messy and chaotic or more overgrown, I think is how I usually do landscaping. But yeah, so I think it looks nice. And then I also included a couple of tables there in the back, but I do switch those out for chess tables later on because I felt like that would be more useful. But here you can see I'm moving on to the interior, working out the floor plan. This was such a struggle. This took me so long. This isn't the first attempt that I'm showing you guys here. This video would probably be another 10 minutes long or something if I showed you every single attempt. But yeah, I think it actually worked out. I do this grand staircase entryway. Here I was trying to place some like tables just to get an idea of where I wanted to place things. I thought these large round tables would look really fancy, but they were way too big. So I go back to that later, obviously when I do the decorating, but for some reason it's kind of nice to place a few different objects while you're doing the floor plan just to get an idea how big the space is so you can plan a little bit easier to see if you have enough room to add exactly what you want. But yeah, I think it actually works out pretty well. I mean, some of the rooms are a little bit awkward shapes, and at first I wasn't really sure if I was going to make them work, especially the room with the bar and the piano. Like here I created this octagon shape, and then I was like, it doesn't really work with the other room that's next to it, but I make it work. The kitchen is kind of a weird shape because it's going to be in the room that's next to this one. And here I really wish that we would have been able to do some sort of like split leveling. Now I could have deleted the floor and then had a staircase go down and then have the piano up, but I didn't think that would look that good. But it would have been so nice just to make the piano up on like a platform. I think that would have looked really, really good. But either way, I do love the way it turns out. And then here I'm just going through some wallpapers. Again, I was looking at different pictures on Pinterest trying to get inspiration, and also taking inspiration from that chateau that I saw in real life. And so I tried to pick wallpapers and some pretty flooring and things that I thought might work. And I thought this combination of the white and tan marble was like really classy and really pretty, but then I thought it was too much with the tan wallpaper paneling. And so I switched it to this one with the tan on the top and the white on the bottom. I felt like that matched a little bit better. But in this room, I have the piano. I end up having the bar, a bunch of dining tables, and I think it just looks so pretty. You will notice though, here I have not gone to the second story to do the floor plan. I don't know what is the deal with me, but every once in a while I'll do a build and I'll do the entire lower floor and I'll start furnishing, and then I don't even do the second floor. I think I start the second floor plan about the time I decorate the entryway to the building. But yeah, for whatever reason, I put it off. But thankfully it worked out and it didn't cause any issues with the way I did the stairs or anything. So it totally worked fine. But here you can see I'm placing the tables, and I sized up those curtains that came with the Island Living expansion pack, and I thought they looked really pretty in here, and I loved the gold detail and how they're sheer. It's really nice in my opinion. And then something I kind of struggled with here was placing artwork in this kind of octagon shaped room, because the placement of the window, it felt so off balance. But I do end up moving the piano, and then I place a fireplace in here, and I kind of struggled with the fireplace because I felt like whoever was playing the piano was going to get way too warm. But it's The Sims, they probably won't get way too warm, but I tried to pull the piano a little bit farther away from the fireplace, but you'll see that here in just a little bit. It was kind of something that I thought was a little bit funny while I was decorating it, because it's probably not that big of a deal, but I thought the fireplace was really pretty. And yeah, I tried to add a few fireplaces in here because I felt like this type of old building, you know, that used to be a home would probably have a lot of fireplaces. So I thought that made sense. And then I also use a lot of more like ornate decorations that we have in game, and some mirrors and some artwork. I use some of those fancier paintings that we have from base game. I use the paintings that we got from the Get Together expansion pack, because of course there are 2 ghosts on this lot. In case you guys aren't aware, this is technically a haunted build, even though you don't have to have the haunted lot trait. There's the couple that used to live here, and so we have paintings of them, like portraits of them from that expansion pack. So I use those in here, and then plates, and I also used the shield and swords. I thought that was maybe like the family crest or something, I think is how you would say it, but I thought it looked really good in here. And then other than that, on the dining tables I have some menus and some lamps. That's what they're called. I have some lamps, which I thought would be really nice. And then over here on the bar, I just have some flowers, some more menus, and some candles. So I thought that would be really pretty. And then here in just a moment, I do switch up the bar area because I really wasn't liking how cluttered it looked with all of these bottles. But we do have another wine rack, or not wine rack specifically, but alcohol rack or juice rack, whatever you want to call it. And yeah, I used the other one because I thought it looked better. And there I just placed some wine bottles over here. And something that was really bugging me was the lighting of these cabinets and counters. The counters look very yellow, and then the cabinets look very white, but of course they're matching. They're supposed to be the same color. I'm not sure why the lighting is different. I think it's probably just a glitch that may have showed up with a recent patch or something, but yeah, I don't know. It was frustrating me a little bit. But over here I placed this little statue that's like a server man, and I put this like keg on top of it. I thought that looked really cool. But those are the racks that I was talking about. I felt like it just looked more simpler and a little bit nicer that way. And yeah, this is basically it for this room. I just shuffle the piano around and then I hang up some chandeliers. I end up going with these chandeliers, I think, yeah, but I only used 2 of them, and I think I actually need to brighten this room up a little bit. I may have, before I took the screenshots, I can't remember if I added some more saucer lights in this room, but I really wanted to have chandeliers, and because this room is such an odd shape, the placement of chandeliers was kind of difficult, so I ended up placing 2 above the bar. I'm not sure if that matters to you guys. You could definitely add more if you would like to, but I kind of also like the dim litness of this room because it feels very romantic, but it's a little bit too dark for my taste. So I think I do add a few more saucer lights and probably merge them into those chandeliers. I just can't exactly remember. But anyway, so here I'm moving on into the entryway of the build. So like I said, I do use a couple of the hostess stations that we got from the Dine Out expansion, and I merged them into this counter. Even if I wasn't to merge them in, they're not going to be usable because unfortunately, we can't change the lot type, like I also mentioned, so they're just for looks, but I think they look really nice that way. So yeah, I was happy with that, and I also really liked using those statues, those like night statues. I think those looked so good in here. I used them several different times, and other than that, in here I used this artwork that we got from the Get Together expansion. I think I put some chairs here or a couch. I can't exactly remember, just the seating area in case you're waiting for your room or waiting for, I don't know, somebody to arrive. You can just sit here and hang out, but I just thought it looked nice. And then I think this is basically it. I do put a little bit of clutter here on the counters just to add a little bit more detail, but I didn't think it was completely necessary to add like a bunch of clutter because I didn't want it to look messy. But here I am finally moving on to the second floor, working at the floor plan. So like I said, there are 3 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms up here, plus a little seating area, office area, just for some extra activities. There's also another seating area that I think I forgot about, but yeah, you'll see that later on when I decorate it. But the floor plan came together pretty easily. I did want to create like an open balcony area, but I didn't think with the way I did the stairs and the space that I had for the other rooms, it would have looked exactly right the way I wanted to do it. But I still leave it a little bit open with like this bridge leading into the other room that I think actually looks really cool because it's totally different than anything I've done before. So I was really happy about it. And you will notice when I first do this floor plan, there's only 1 other bathroom for the other 2 rooms. And at first, I just didn't really see a great way to add another bathroom, but I easily place one later on. So you'll see that when we get to it. But yeah, I was trying to tell myself it was okay if they share a bathroom, but then I'm like, if this is going to be a hotel, if you have 2 rooms that share a bathroom, that would be extremely awkward unless they are definitely in the same like wedding party. Even then it's probably extremely awkward. They would probably have to be like close family members to want to share a bathroom. So thankfully I made it work, but yeah, we'll go back to that later on. But here you can see I'm just finishing up the entryway by adding some side tables and some artwork and things to this tiny little entryway right by the front door that I thought looked nice. I did think about adding some closets that would be like where you would check your coat, but then I didn't think that was that necessary. So I thought artwork and flowers and lamps and those types of things would be a lot more better use of the space anyways. So I think it looks really, really nice. And I love this technique of using that picture frame that we got with the Vampires game pack, I almost said stuff pack, the Vampires game pack, and merging that mirror into it. They merge together almost perfectly. If you look closely, you can kind of see the mirror either poking out of the top or the bottom, but it's so good. I learned that trick from my friend Harry. I've mentioned her channel so many different times. If you guys are not following her, she's another channel that I definitely highly recommend. And yeah, I learned that technique from her. It's so smart. But here you can see I'm moving on into the bathrooms. Originally, I was going to make each of the bathrooms just like a single stall and make the stalls like bigger with, I don't know, just more grand. But then I was like, really, it's not that necessary to have too grand of a bathroom. I mean, I still think they look fancy for being like technically like more public bathrooms, but there's 3 stalls in each of them, and I think they actually just look really nice. And yeah, there's a few decorations, nothing too crazy, or yeah, it's just not that overly decorated, but I think they look really good. And then I just copy the rooms over because they're exactly the same size as the other bathrooms, and that makes it so much easier. I love that tool so much. It's so handy, especially in doing community lots where it makes sense to have some rooms look identical, like just mirroring one another. So that was really handy, and yeah, happy to be able to use that. And then other than that, I just decorate the hallway a little bit, put some stools at the counter. And then in this room here in the back, I was not sure what to do back here. So I just add some decorations, I think like a bookcase and some artwork and some more of those knight statues. It's very simple because really it's just technically another entryway or back entryway, however you describe that. I'm not exactly sure, but I think it looks nice. And then I just copy over those couches, and then over here is going to be like the wedding party room where you would sit and eat or dance or give your speeches or whatever you want to do. I really hope that someday we get like a wedding pack where there's more that you can actually do at weddings. I mean, weddings are okay in the game, but the wedding party does not sit down and actually watch the wedding, and I just wish there was more decorations and maybe more interactions, or if you could actually hire somebody to take pictures. I don't know. I mean, thankfully there is the photography skills, and also with the Moschino stuff pack, we have the tripod so you can actually take it around with you and take pictures throughout the garden. So I mean, it is a little bit better in that sense, but still, a wedding pack would be pretty nice. I know that was one of their like suggested pack ideas when we got to vote on the community stuff pack. We ended up voting for laundry day. I really wanted off the grid, but now we got off the grid with island living. I think they've fixed most of the issues. There's probably still a few things that aren't technically correct with the off the grid trait, but at least they added it somewhat in another pack. So I'm wondering if they'll do the same with wedding stuff. I don't know. What was some of the other suggestions? Like arcade, and then I forget the other ones. But anyways, here you can see I'm setting up these little tables over here with some presents and some champagne and some cards. I really wanted to add that, I'm not sure what you call it, but it's like a fondue type fountain. I think it came with Luxury Party. I was going to add it, but I didn't have a great spot, and I wanted to do another table. That way you had space to put a cake and maybe a few more gifts. So I thought that looked a little bit better. And then I also add this decoration that we got from Seasons. It's like this little banner of wedding cards that I thought was so sweet. And I just love that room so much. But over here is going to be the kitchen. So you can hire a caterer, or you could have your sim cook, or I don't know, you could pretend that they are a chef at a fancy restaurant, because there will be sims coming here to visit. There was actually quite a few sims when I was playtesting it, just for that short period of time. Like I said, I'm going to playtest it a little bit, like for a little bit longer, but you could actually have your sim in here cooking and serving food, and I'm sure people would eat it, so you could pretend that they work here. I don't know. I'm sure there's lots of possibilities, but yeah, I kind of struggled with the shape of this room because it's so awkward. I was trying to do these double stoves over here along this wall, which I think looks okay, but then I didn't really have a great way to put the counters and then the refrigerators, and it just really wasn't working for me necessarily. So yeah, I try a lot of different layouts in this room. As you'll see, I just struggled with it for a while, but in the end, I really do like it. And you'll also be able to see more of this really huge contrast between the upper head cabinets and the counters. I don't know why they look so different from one another. It's so frustrating. Do you guys remember that glitch that we had with them? I think it was probably like a year ago, where the upper head cabinets, were they darker than the lower ones? I think that's what was happening. Or there was like a harsh shadow, I think, on the back of the counters. I can't exactly remember. I don't know why I brought it up if I can't exactly remember what happened, but I remember there was like a huge glitch with them. But either way, this is the final layout. I have the wine rack in here. I have a little trash can. I think I put a broom in here. I also have this table, and I did want this room to be very usable with lots of counter space. So I tried to not overly clutter up this room. So I just put a few decorations around. Of course, I can't help myself, so I do have to add some clutter, but yeah, everything should work fine. I will play test it with hiring a caterer and see how that works with them placing things. There might need to be actually another table to drag food onto, maybe like a buffet table or something. So I might make that change depending on how it works. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. But anyways, here I'm moving on into this room. This room I had no idea what to do with. So I kind of had the idea of making it a cigar lounge. I'm not really sure what a cigar lounge is. I've never seen one, but I think I've seen them in movies. But I figured this would be a place that maybe that you would sit and relax before the event. Maybe part of the wedding party that isn't getting ready with the bride would just hang out in here and play games and sit and talk. I'm not exactly sure. So it's just like a game room. Like I said, we don't have cigars in the game, so that's not really probably what I should call it, but that's the idea that I had. So hopefully you guys kind of get the idea that I had anyways. But yeah, I think it's kind of a cool room, and add some more activities because of course you can sit there and play the Don't Wake the Llama, or you could sit in the little couch area and read a book or something. I think there's a lot of possibilities, and I think it looks really nice too, so I was definitely happy about that. And then here on the outside balconies, I add some outdoor dining tables, basically just for some more seating area. I felt like it made it feel a little bit more like a hotel or a restaurant to have some extra seating, and yeah, I thought that was like really pretty. I also thought about adding a pool here, which you could definitely fit if you don't want the fountain, but I thought the fountain was nice. But at a hotel, of course, a swimming pool would be really nice. But yeah, I just add some tables, and I think they look pretty out here. I did think about adding some more chess tables, but like I said, I do delete the 2 lower tables and put chess tables here instead, just so there's more activities. And then here we're moving on to the upstairs, and I decorate this landing bridge area. I think this is actually really cool. When I first did it, I was like, does this look strange and kind of unrealistic? And should I just force like an open balcony to the bottom? But I'm happy that I did this because I think it looks so unique. But here I did switch up this little office room. I added another chess table, and then I added a seating area by the window and some artwork. It's very matchy-matchy. It's like the same split down the middle of the room, but I think for this build, it totally works. And then I just add some chandeliers. And then over here, I add another seating area. And I use these large fancy couches from Get Famous. I was really happy with the way these looked here. And I don't think I've ever used these couches in a build. And honestly, I think I probably thought I would never use them because I just don't really build that fancy of builds, and I need to. I've had so much fun with these last 2 builds. Like I said, I did the one in Willow Creek that I still have to share with you guys. I have not even attempted to edit the footage yet. It's going to be so much footage. I spent so long on that build. That one will probably be a 2-part build. This one probably should have been a 2-part, but I just did not see a great way of like splitting it up, and it would have been too uneven. I like when you can split builds and they're more even, like, you know, one half is 20 minutes and then the other half is 20 minutes. This would have been like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes and then like 30 minutes. I don't know. It probably would have been okay, but whatever. We'll do a 40-minute voiceover. But yeah, I really want to do more fancier builds. I do still have the pinnacles to decorate or to build on in Del Sol Valley. So those ones will probably be more fancy, but I'm thinking of doing more modern. Maybe Judith Ward's won't be modern, but I see her living in more of like a mid-century style. I don't know. I have not figured out exactly what I want to do there because I have built a home for the Bailey Moon family and I went very modern with their house, and I like neighborhoods to be cohesive, and so I don't know if I should do modern with the other ones or do one more modern and then one traditional, because there is that fancy lot that Judith Ward lives on right now. I don't know. What do you guys think I should do? Should I just do modern or both? I don't know. No clue. But here you can see I'm moving on into the first bedroom. And so each of the bedrooms have kind of a color scheme. This one's like a light brown and gold. I think it's actually pretty similar in color scheme to the master, but the master is more white and gold with less browns. But either way, then the other room is blue. But I just tried to make them look fancy, and I tried to make them look like they matched the rest of the build. And I used this carpet that we got from Vampires, and I thought that looked nice in here. And then just some artwork, and yeah, I just think it looks really pretty. I was trying really hard not to add a bunch of decorations because, I mean, this is supposed to be a hotel room, so it shouldn't be overly cluttered or messy or anything, and I think it works. And then this is going to be the ensuite bathroom to this bedroom. I loved using this bathtub from Cats and Dogs. I thought it looked so pretty next to the window. And then I also add a stand-up shower. The stand-up shower came from Get Famous. So if you don't have Get Famous, this build is going to look very, very different. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind if you want to download this, because that's a pack that I used probably the most out of any pack that we have in game was honestly Get Famous, and then maybe Get Together. I don't know, but I know Get Famous for sure. But anyways, this is the bathroom. I think it's very cute. And then here I'm moving on into the blue bedroom, and I love this bedroom. I think it's so sweet. I get a fireplace in here. I would have loved to fit a fireplace in the other bedroom, but it felt a little bit too small. I probably could have fit a single bed in there, and then the fireplace wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But either way, I liked using it in here. And the curtains, to my surprise, actually didn't clip through the floor. Even though I sized them up, I thought that they would poke through the floor on the bottom. But I went in to like angled up at the ceiling, and I didn't see them clipping through. And plus, this is the tallest wall height, I think, on the bottom. So even if they clip through, you probably wouldn't see it. But yeah, I didn't see them, and yeah, I was pretty surprised about that. But yeah, I think this room is really, really cute, and I like that there's just that single bunny statue on the dresser. I thought that was pretty sweet. And then this is going to be the ensuite to this bathroom. I just copied over the object from the other bathroom, but I changed the colors to be white for some reason. Yeah, I just thought that they should be a little bit more personalized to each of the rooms so they weren't exactly identical. I felt like that made more sense for this build anyways. And then over here is going to be the master suite or the bridal suite, however you want to describe it. And I did not realize when I did this floor plan how big this room was. I mean, I knew it was going to be big and I wanted it to be like a grander room, but yeah, it's way bigger than I thought. It's probably the biggest bedroom I've ever built in game, but of course for this build that is very over the top, I think it definitely works. And I used this bed that we got from Vampires because it was so grand and fancy. And then they also have like this walk-in closet area that I create. At first the bathroom was going to be a little bit bigger, but then I thought about it a little bit longer, and I figured since this is going to be more of like a wedding venue hotel, I wanted a place for your Sims to, you know, do their makeup and like look at their wedding dress. So yeah, you'll see that later on. But over here is like a living room area inside the bridal suite with a fireplace. Again, I use these couches from Get Famous. I just used the other version of them without the swishy back. However you say that, I'm not sure. But I like these ones because they actually have pillows, and you guys know I love pillow details on couches in the game. I feel like it makes them look so much more comfortable. And even though they're like the tiniest pillows, I think they still are like, they make the couch for me. But there I just switched up the dresser inside that room because I wanted to use this dresser in this room instead because it was white and gold and it matched the room. And I didn't want the exact same dressers in the different rooms. I wanted them to feel more different. So yeah, that's what I did, and I used those plushy rugs in kind of like this. I don't use this color of rug that often because it looks kind of a gross gold color, but I think in here it totally works and it ties in the golds, at least in my opinion. So I was happy about that. But there I just made the bathroom a little bit smaller, and then I make this walk-in closet vanity room, and I use this vanity that we got from Get Famous, and I don't think I actually cluttered up. Usually when I place this vanity, I add a bunch of decorations, but I just put that tray and then I put some mirrors so you could have your Sim, you know, look at themselves in their wedding dress and admire themselves and get ready for the wedding event. And I really like that idea. But yeah, over here is going to be the ensuite bathroom. I really wanted like a very big glass shower. I really hope that we get like a double shower, like a modern shower, or just a shower head that would clip to a wall, and then we could add dividers or windows or whatever we wanted to do to make it look more like a walk-in modern shower. Is that what you call them? But yeah, I think that would be so nice. But over here I do have the double sinks, and then I have a little table full of, I figured, like complimentary soaps and shampoos, and then I just hang up a few decorations, and then yeah, I place a plant in the corner, and then this is basically it for this room, and I think it looks really good. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this build. I had so much fun with this one. Honestly, one of the funnest builds I've done in such a long time, so I'm really pleased with it, and I hope you guys do enjoy the screenshots. So yeah, I'm just gonna add the final few details, and then we are finished with the build. So thank you so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.
Let go, rain. It's not your song to sing no more. Goodbye, blame. Weights can't lift you up, but you can find a way to drop them. Can you feel the wind? Say you do, it's how it all begins. Then comes reason, then purpose. Well, you will find your way. In the meantime, may the sun bless you with its rays. It's how we learn. It has to hurt, it has to hurt. Every single turn. Don't beg your pardon. You're not someone's victim. It has to hurt, it has to hurt. You can ask spring how it is when the buds are bursting. You can watch the birds when they fly across the world. Weights can't lift you up, you can find a way to drop them. When the new ones weigh you down, you'll be on top of them. Oh, don't mind the falls, break down when it burns. It has to hurt. Every single turn. Don't beg your pardon. You're not someone's victim. It has to hurt, just has to hurt. It's how we learn. Don't be concerned. It has to hurt. Yes, every single turn. Don't beg your pardon. You're not someone